Okay, so hi. Today's recipe is going to be smothered chicken and rice. Now, this is typically something that I would make a little closer to fall when it's a little cooler, but we do have a storm that's brewing outside, and I really want something a little bit warmer to eat for dinner. So let's see. So your typical chicken and rice, or when you're making rice, you are going to do 2-to-1 ratio. So 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of chicken broth or water. I use chicken broth when I make my rice just because it gets more flavor and it's a lot yummier. So we're going to do 1 cup of rice. In our pot. And you can either do that or you can do what's called the finger, which I do not like that term. The finger test, which means if your rice is right here, your water should be right there. And that is about right. I always put a little extra in just because I like the flavor. So you're going to put that on to boil. And then once it boils, you're going to turn it down until all of that chicken broth is absorbed. Make sure you're stirring it. Again, depending on the temperature of how hot your stove is. Mine's electric, so it's never reliable. But just make sure you're continually stirring it and checking it. You can add in at that point, if you're doing something that's Mexican inspired, you can add cumin to it. Tons of different things. Rice is super, super easy to make, and it goes a long way. So we're going to get that started, and then we're going to start on our chicken. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is season our chicken. And now I am just doing a small dinner. So I've got some chicken tenders here. I've already taken out that vein tendon thing that I hate. But if you have chicken breast, obviously chicken breast, we're going to season it with some garlic powder. Some ground paprika. I ended up using minced onion because I couldn't find my onion powder. And I love ground paprika, so that you want to get both sides seasoned really, really well. Some onion powder. Oops, that's the garlic powder. All right, and you are going to stick those in your pan with your heated olive oil. Now, if you were doing something larger than chicken tenders, your cook time likely between 5 and 6 minutes. But since these are small pieces, I'm only going to do these for about 3 to 4. You want your internal temperature for any chicken to be at 165, so it is safe to eat. Medium-high heat, and I'm going to go ahead and cover that. And let that cook, and then we are going to get started on our sauce. All right, so the chicken is done. So we're going to move that to a plate. And then we are not going to miss out on all of that yummy goodness that's on the bottom of the pan. So what we're going to do with that is we are going to make a roux. We're going to start out with, where is my butter? Get some butter. And we're going to do 2 tablespoons of butter. And then we are going to do a tablespoon of flour. And then a touch of chicken broth to deglaze. Get this back on the burner. And you're going to whip this, scrape the bottom, all those goodness pieces, get those off. I should be using my plastic whisk, but I can't seem to locate that. But you want to cook the flour down so you don't get that raw flour taste. And you'll see it's making a nice roux. And we're scraping all those yummy bits off the bottom, giving it that paprika look, the color. Put some more chicken broth in there. Go away. All right, we're going to add in here. So that flour is all cooked down in there now. All the bits have been scraped off the bottom. So now we're going to add some thyme. Just about half a teaspoon. Some garlic powder. About half a teaspoon. And then we are going to get some half and half. We're going to put that in there. Now you can use half and half, or you can use heavy cream, or you can use milk. Whichever you want. But look at that gorgeous color. Yummy. So our rice is almost done. This is going to come up to a little bit of a simmer, and then we're going to add a half a cup of cheddar cheese and a half a cup of Parmesan. Get all that mixed in. Then we're going to toss the chicken. We're going to cut the chicken up into pieces, toss the chicken back in, and then we're going to serve that over the rice. All right, so we have got our cheesy sauce in here. It looks nice. The cheese is still in the middle of melting, but it tastes fantastic. We're going to add our chicken back in here, which is completely cooked. Our rice is all done. And we're just going to let this sit in here just for a few more minutes while that cheese continues to melt. And this looks absolutely delicious. All right, so there we go. There is your creamy chicken and rice. Enjoy.